Fortune and Strife features subjects which can be uncomfortable for a general audience, such as the use of drugs and alcohol, poor treatment of people of different classes or cultures, adult situations, psychological trauma, deprivation, survival, natural disasters, and violence. Listener discretion advised. In addition, these next few episodes of the show contain cultural and historical content based upon the peoples of Asia and the Far East. We are coming at this from a place of respect and genuine interest and a love of these cultures, places, and history. We may not get it 100% right all the time, and we ask you to bear with us and give us the benefit of the doubt, and we would let us know when we get it wrong. We want to be an ally in dispelling Orientalism that has affected the Asian and Middle Eastern communities around the world. Welcome to Fortune and Strife. I am Robert, or Bayoshi Shinichi, and I'll be your host and narrator.
I am Jeanne, and I am playing Doji Gen.
I am Tyler, and I am playing Akoto Ricci. Let's play some L5R in the Burning Sands.
As steel flashes and everyone is kind of jumping and getting ready for the escalation of events, this is joining late, as it were. We have effectively someone has started a skirmish as an ambush without you. So part of what you need to do is join late, which will be a Tn2 tactics check. And then if you succeed on that, plus all of your bonus successes will be added to your vigilance instead of your focus for joining late. Meanwhile, the attacker will still do it normal. It will be their tactics check versus plus their focus. And we will go with that. All right. Ricci turns and sees that the beautiful young man, Ismail Farah, who was at the foot of the Sultan not too long ago, has flashed a knife out and is looking to stab Gen. But luckily, you both seem to have caught on within a fairly the same time. Both of your heads whipping around to see this assault coming, and that's when we're going to go ahead and roll initiative for a skirmish, because he has ambushed, and you all will have to make a check as if arriving late with using your vigilance instead of focus, and it'll be a Tn2 tactics check instead of a Tn1. So Ricci, what did you get?
I got 2 successes and an opportunity with mine.
Okay. And any opportunities?
Because I am rolling initiative into the water stance, I will use the opportunity to assess all the terrain qualities in the area.
Got it. Because you're fighting indoors inside of a court chambers of the Sultan and the Caliph here, you will be having one of the new terrain qualities called Confining from Fields of Victory, which says in a duel or skirmish, when a character makes a check to wield a weapon or activate a technique with a maximum range of 2 or higher, increase the TN by 2.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. And Ricci, that gave you, your initiative total is?
My initiative total is 4.
Got it. All right. And Gen, you. How did your roll go?
I failed the roll, but I got 2 opportunities straight, so I'm going to keep those.
Okay.
I'm going to spend 1 on, it says, on an initiative check, assess one foe's weakness, learn one of their disadvantages, so I want to learn one of his disadvantages.
Got it. Ismail Al-Farah is ruthless, just to the core, almost like, seeing into the eyes of a man who no care for others in his soul, and it's kind of a spiritual weakness of his to be this ruthless. It is a void disadvantage.
Okay. And the other opportunity I would like to spend on, if you failed, provide assistance to the next character trying to accomplish the same action. Since the action is initiative, I will, and Ricci's already rolled, I will provide a heads up to the Emir.
There you go. I'd say that, or maybe you can have it. You can throw it towards Sueno or to Hayate, perhaps.
Okay, well, I can. If they are actively participating in this fight, I would be happy.
I think that would be a great way to bring them in, is to throw them this. So this is bonus. Excellent. Why don't you go ahead and make an additional Tn2 tactics check for Sueno? And in the meantime, for Ismail Alfara, I have 3 successes with his focus of 6 is going to bring him to initiative 9, and he's going to spend his 1 air opportunity to ask Gin to tell him one of her disadvantages.
For her advantage, he learns that she has a disadvantage of insatiable curiosity.
Got it. So I could see him kind of thinking, this poor fool, she's distracted with another bit of curiosity. Now is the time for me to strike because she is so easily distracted with what she is found to be of interest at any one moment. So, and that's when he's decided that now is his perfect time to try and strike you for the insult you have thrown towards the Sultan in his eyes.
Okay, Sueno got 2 opportunities and 2 successes on her initiative.
All right, and then what is her vigilance?
And her vigilance is 2.
2. All
so
right.
her total initiative is 3, and she is in water stance. And just a moment.
So she can assess the qualities or take other types of martial water actions or water opportunities, I should say.
She is going to go ahead and use those to move the number of range bands necessary to close. Move a range band to close.
Before she's even really grasped entirely what's going on, she is dashing towards you to help defend you and or combat the attacker. Excellent.
Because that is Sueno. That's what she
That
would
is
do.
that's her deal. Exactly. I love it. All right. So he kind of snarls out something along the lines. Again, you're still not grasping the language entirely, but something like, insolent girl child, how dare you insult the Sultan in such a way? And he's going to lash out at you with a wicked curved dagger. So that's going to be, he's going to go, yeah, he's going to try and go all out for this one. So he's going to put himself into fire stance from air and try and attack you. But you are in air because you assessed in air. So the TN to hit you will be 3.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So he lashes out at you and gets 3 successes with 1 strife. And he is kind of just able to barely connect with you there. So that will be a success with a damage 3 weapon. So he will do, effectively 3 damage to you. Your clothing at this point will count as court robes or ceremonial robes, which I think has a physical protection or physical resistance of 1. So you will take 2 fatigue as you kind of dodge out of the way or parry against the swift strike of the young man here.
All right.
All right, and that is the first attack made, and now we to those of you who are at 4. Lower honor goes first, which I believe means Ricci will go first.
I have a 78.
No,
Ooh, that's
no,
true.
he's higher than me.
Fair enough. I wasn't quite sure. Sometimes it's a toss up when you're dealing with a lion and a crane. So I'm sorry. In this case, Gin will go first when it comes to a tie.
Okay, I am going to draw myself up, go into water stance, and order this person to back the heck off, and we'll see if it works. Lady Doji's decree.
Excellent. All right. He is in fire, so there is no raised TN for attack or scheme actions. So you are just looking for whatever the TN of your action is. The TN for that is?
The vigilance of the highest status person among the targets. In this case,
the people who are attacking you, which is only 1 at the moment.
Right.
Okay, and it is the vigilance of the highest status, you said?
Yeah, among the targets. So in this
Got
case,
it.
it's just this person.
I will give you a void point to do it blind.
Okay. Well, Let me roll it and see what I get. It's a
Oh,
bit
and
of a
what
long
stance
shot,
did you go
but
into for what stance did you go into for this?
it's a void.
Void.
Well,
Got it.
actually, you don't. Yeah, you have to do it in void.
Yeah, I believe these ones are typed make a void courtesy or void whatever roll.
I got 3 successes, 2 opportunities, and 1 strife.
All right. Well, gives you success with 0 bonus successes.
I got the 2 opportunities, and so if it is success with 0 bonus successes plus 2 opportunities, that means that the target cannot perform attack actions or scheme actions, basically.
Cannot attack or scheme actions against you till what condition is met.
Basically for 1 round plus additional rounds of bonus successes, but at least for 1 round.
Hey, at least for
It's a
one round,
start.
you have got him stopped. So yeah, he stops dead in his tracks. I'm not quite sure what to make of you at this point. That one, that you were not intimidated by him at the least, and how quickly you were able to dodge yourself out of the way and actually make probably a pretty good martial slap against his wrist to deflect the blade from coming at you earlier just a moment ago. All right. So then that brings us to Ricci.
All right. So I think we've got this blade coming out, and
Lady Doji's decree has earned you at least 1 round.
Technically, it's only against me, and we could, but it is an opportunity that someone could step in and de-escalate if you wanted to hit more with a shuji rather than a.
I'm trying to decide if I just want violence or not.
Right? Because you could always issue a challenge.
Ooh.
You could always snap a leg off a table and just go violence, but you could also do it with style by challenging him.
Yeah. Remind me, do we actually have our weapons on us? Do we have our dice show?
You do not have your dice shows on you, no.
Okay.
Well, you could create a weapon, I guess. That doesn't count as an attack, so, you know.
I'm not a Ronin. I don't need to. We settle things like civilized people. So at which point I will throw down a challenge.
Okay. All right. So challenges.
It is a command check.
It is a command check. I think it's a TN2, but I gotta.
It's a Tn1 command check. However, if they decide to decline, they will forfeit glory equal to my ranks in command plus bonus successes, and then every one of their allies gets strife.
Yeah, he ain't about losing glory.
But if he accepts, he'll stake 10 honor and 5 glory. At which point we can start a clash. At some point, it usually says that the clash begins right now, but.
Mm-hmm.
If it comes down that we want to take this outside.
Yeah, I think that a negotiated formal duel, or it could possibly be an impromptu one, depending on how you and the other go about this. So why don't you first start us off with making the Tn1 command check.
Excellent. And we're in water, so that is a water of 3 and a command of 3.
He gives a charming issue to command. No. Interesting. You didn't go for the total pile of successes. All right. But it also keeps you clean of strife. Yeah.
I want to keep my strife down. So with my 3 successes and 2 opportunities, I already know one of my opportunities is going to be reducing some strife because, man, this is the first time I've gotten to challenge to a duel in so long, and this is a thing that Ricci's been aching for a while.
Excellent.
So 2 strife right there, just, yes, all is right in the universe.
How do you word the challenge? Do you have something you want to say about it, or is it kind of a body language thing as you kind of step forward and kind of like motion for him to, hey, why don't you bring it over here? Kind of like the classic hand motion of like, come at me. What are you thinking?
Yeah, it's a little bit of a mixture of a kind of back and forth thing of Ricci puts himself a little bit closer in between Gen and Ishmael, holds his hand up as in that kind of like stop motion, and then kind of flips it around to where it's the palm facing up, and then just curls the fingers as in bring it. Don't need to say a word.
As soon as you do that, and you kind of see, so as soon as you make that motion, you could see that Ismail is now no longer as interested in Gen as he was. No, now he has the chance to strike up against this scion of the House of Akoto from Rokugan. Someone who has been told to the court is a man of means and accomplishment. And yeah, no, this is definitely the opponent he would much rather strike against.
And
And
the
oh, go
other
ahead.
opportunity I'd like to use
Mm-hmm.
is I'm using this as gregariously as possible. So it just kind of there's
In this
someone in the
cocksure,
court.
yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
there is someone in the court who's like, okay, yeah, I like this guy.
I like this kid. You hear kind of from beside you, Ricci, and it's coming from Hayate, and he somehow, like, you've been hanging out with this man for a few weeks now, throughout the desert and in your time in the Emir's estates here on the Caliph's palace, and you have never seen him draw this weapon, but he draws an Iguchi, a hiltless knife from Rokugan, and he tosses it your way, handle first, for you to have a weapon to with which to confront this this brigand with,
I'll
this
I'll
ne'er do well.
and I will snatch it out of the air and just go into a fighting stance.
There you go. So yeah, I think we're gonna go directly into a class here. So let's go ahead and set that up. Oh, I should have stated something just before, but it'll be just as important now. We're changing scenes as it went from intrigue into a skirmish. So before you reduce strife, if you had more than half your composure, reset yourself to half, then reduce your strife, like you did off that water check. So you might
Oh,
have more strife for you than you thought you did.
actually, it's actually kind of nice because the composure was up by 3, which had my raised the half up by 1 point. So I got
Mm-hmm.
to drop it down and then drop it my strife down again. So I'm down to 5 out of 12.
Not bad, not bad. However, you have lost Pillar of Calm, or no, a Touchstone of Courage.
Correct. Yeah, it's now off. So I'm back down to my normal 12.
Got it. Yeah, just making sure that for you and all the other Rokugan, or those who speak Rokugani, has been taken down. And now we will both make yet another initiative check, this time a Tn1 meditation check to do initiative for a duel or clash.
All right. We're going to stick in this water stance because it seems to be working well for me so far. So that's 3 water and my 2 meditation.
All right, and this will be added to our focus. So Ismail gets 2 successes and an opportunity.
Coincidentally, that's also the same thing I got. 2 successes and opportunity. I also
All
got a
right.
strife on that. So
Yeah, same here. Yeah, effectively the same roll each. He has a focus of 6, which will give him an initiative of 8.
I have a focus of 4. Gives me 6. But I will use the opportunity to bring my strife down just a little bit further because duels are all about strife. So I'm at 4 of 12 now.
Hey, there you go. Make of it what you can. That said, for an opportunity, you need to tell him one of your disadvantages.
Oh, we'll go with the one that makes the most amount of sense, which is Ricci does not like to fail.
All right, failure. Fair enough.
I would say it would be weird if you found out somehow about my bitter betrothal or my sworn enemy.
Right? Yeah. Although, who knows? He might know your sworn enemy. But yeah, let's go with fear of failure. Right? You might be acting cocksure to everyone else, but part of you also is just that little teensy bit uncertain if you'll actually make it through this alive or not. So yeah, we'll go with that.
Perfect.
Yeah, I like it. All right. So the two of you square off. First round, we each take 1 strife. So go ahead and add that to our totals. Let's see here. What would Ismail do? Kind of sizing you up and trying to kind of provoke. He makes some motions here, makes some motions there, and through a series of feints and counter feints, will set up a prepare, or not prepare, predict. And so I'm going to go ahead and message Jeanne what they are going to predict. But it's up to you to decide what stance you're going to go in.
So he starts doing the little bit of fainting and moving around, and Ricci knows that, you can be moving around all you want, but you got to be steady and rock solid. So I'm going Earth.
You predicted Earth.
I did predict Earth. So the next time your opponent chooses their stance, you may reveal your selection. If it matches the stance they chose, your opponent receives 4 strife, and then they must choose a different stance.
Okay, well then, I guess we're just going to go right back into water.
Got it. So yeah, immediately he kind of he sees you going for that steady bit, and he looks like he's about to come in right at you, and you realize only in a just a moment's notice before he might gut you that okay, hold on, I gotta switch this up, and you get back into your fluid adaptable stance instead of just standing still, realizing that if you had stuck to your landing, he would have just skewered you. Gain 4 strife,
Gets
and
me up to 9.
and you're back into water. Um,
But with
so
that,
now that you're in water, you still get to take one checked and one unchecked action.
well, my action, we'll go ahead and do the we'll go ahead and do my checked action first, as taking the blade, kind of reversing around a little bit into a backstab kind of motion. Richie kind of ducks in, ducks out, dashes forward, and then throws in a good cut towards his belly, doing a flowing water strike.
Got it. Just to check, does that have a range of 2?
It's whenever you use an appropriate skill for that ready weapon, targeting one character at range 0 to 2, regardless of the weapon's usual range restrictions.
Excellent. Okay, so it's just a 0-2-2. Good to know. So then, yes, it doesn't worry about being in a confined space. So yeah, feel free to strike and to use that technique if you can pull it off.
All right, I've got a water of 3 and a martial arts melee of 4.
Do know that he is an heir, so the TN is raised
You said by 1?
by 1.
All right, we're going to be looking for a TN of 4. And you know what? No, this is a time to make sure we use this. I will go ahead and use a void point on this one.
There you go. All right.
That brings me down to 1 void point again. So that was a good strike by me. That's 5 successes, 3 strife, and 2 opportunity on the flowing water strike.
All right. So what are the results of that I have to worry?
So what that does is that it will do physical damage equal to my water ring, which is 3.
Okay.
And he will suffer the bleeding condition.
Oh, that's not good. Okay.
Now you also have to resist with a Tn4 fitness check. If he was an earth stance, it'd be 2, or if he's in fire stance, it'd be 5. But he's an air, so it's a Tn4. If he fails, he's going to take the physical damage of the weapon as well.
And that will add an additional what?
3.
Additional 3. All right. So that'll be a total of 6 minus his armor.
For my opportunities, speaking of which, 1 opportunity, I will be reducing the strife, bringing me back down to 10.
Okay.
And the other opportunity, I'm going to reduce his physical resistance by 1, as I just strike right in that nice little seam area.
Fair enough. All right. So he will just take the full 6 then. Ouch. Nothing to be done about that. So he jukes this way, jukes that way, tries to get out of the way of it, and catch him like flat-footed on this maneuver. He gets no successes but 2 opportunities. He will spend 1 to know your current strife, so both the GM and the character are both aware of this. And the next one is he will add an opportunity to his next martial check that he makes.
Sounds good. Also, let me do one quick amendum there.
Sure.
When I spend that opportunity to reduce his resistance, it's still going to be the same thing, but I'm also going to activate striking his water. So that will last until
Okay.
the end of the next turn.
Oh, very good. Okay, striking his water comes into play. He's not feeling so great, and even though he thinks he got away from the worst of your cut and thrust with the knife, he looks down and finds that he's bleeding down a substantial gash in his arm that you somehow left him that he didn't feel until just this moment as he looks down and sees the blood start to flow. So I need to look that up again. I believe bleeding is anytime he takes an action. Anytime he gains strife on an action, he takes fatigue. Let's
I
see
believe
here.
so as well.
Conditions. I just got to check this one more time. Bleeding. There it is. The character is losing blood internally or externally. When a bleeding character makes a check, they suffer physical damage equal to the symbols of the kept dice. Got it. So it's not fatigue. It's they take damage, as it were. All right. Each time the damage inflicted this way causes the character to suffer a critical strike. Oh, like as if he was unconscious or something. Okay. Or sorry, incapacitated. Fair enough. This is not good for him. He needs to make a Tn2 medicine earth check to stop the flow of blood if he wants. Okay.
And then that was my checked action. My non-check action for being in water stance. We're gonna take ourselves a lovely calming breath.
There you go. That
brings me back down to 9.
That is good to apply to yourself. All right. All right. Well, that's round 1. Pretty eventful. We will now move into round 2. We each add 2 strife to our characters. Then it is L5R's time to act, and they are going to slip into water stance and attempt to strike. All right. So he gets 3 successes and 1 opportunity. He will spend the opportunity to reduce his strife by 2, and then he will strike you for 4 damage.
Okay. And I assume that that's clothing we have has a resistance of 1.
Yes, it is ceremonial court clothing.
Excellent. So that's 3 fatigue going my way.
Yep, 3 fatigue your way as he comes in for another slash, and either you parry with your blade or slap his hand out of the way or just step back quickly enough, but he's not able to really catch you, but he is able to reduce his strife by a bit, and then he himself will also take a calming breath for a total reduction of 3. All right. It is now your action there, Richie.
All right, it's a tough choice with this high amount of strife, but I think I'm going to try something for a little bit unique. Definitely calling upon my Matsu training here. So definitely going to be switching over to Void Stance. And in the middle of this court, Ricci just unleashes a yell that is booming as I do Lord Akoto's roar.
Very nice. All right. So what is the TN that you need to hit for Lord Akoto's roar here?
Tn1.
Oh, well, there you go. That's not so bad.
And there's no benefits for any additional successes. I will target each hostile character within a number of range bands equal to my skill rank, 3. So I think there's only 1 openly hostile person.
That is correct.
But I think I'll also, just for the sake of it, target the Vizier as well.
Nice.
If they're anywhere nearby. If I succeed, they'll become dazed.
Sounds good. All right. Let's go ahead and roll that.
Void of 3 and a command of 3 as well.
So you succeed. The Vizier and L5R are dazed. Do you wish to use? How do you wish to use your opportunity?
So I've got a use for this opportunity. So command is a social skill, and this is going to be really weird. As I'm yelling, I'm going to look not directly at the Sultan as in like a challenging style, but I want to pick up what's his objective during this fight. Like, is he entertained by this? Is he now worried that Ishmael has gotten injured? Is he just nonchalantly not even caring? What is the Sultan doing?
Got it. So the Sultan has gone from kind of rapt enjoyment of seeing everything up until he saw the blossoming petals of blood that have started to drip onto the marble floor of his court, and he realizes that Ismail is now bleeding, and it is when he realizes it is his blood of his most favored advisor. And not the Rokugani's blood. He has now started to get a bit worried and panicky. He has suffered some narrative strife to himself, and he is fit to outburst.
Okay.
All right. So that is Ricci's action. He has stunned the Vizier and L5R. And as we go into round 3, you each gain 3 strife, which I believe compromises you.
It does indeed. I am now at 14 strife over my 12 composure.
Got it. So now we need to go ahead and to funness is always a finishing blow. So for a finishing blow, I need to choosing an attack action, performing it against their opponent, interrupting anything the target is doing, including resolving a check of their own. In which case, the finishing blow resolves blah blah blah. If I succeed, instead of dealing damage, the finishing blow inflicts a critical strike with severity equal to 2 times the deadliness of the weapon. All right. Well, let's see if I can hit you with a TN of L5R will spend his one and only void point on this check to see what he can pull.
Okay. Yep. And of course, he is dazed because of the roar, so it does make it a little more difficult to hit me.
It is a TN4, absolutely.
We go for the long game on this one.
He will connect. All right. So this weapon is a 3/3. So on this attack, I will double that to make it a 6, but I got to hit 4 successes. All right. So in the end, I get 4 successes and 2 opportunities. He will spend 1 opportunity to reduce his strife by 2. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the other one just yet. Oh, I know. I can reduce your physical resistance by 1 because it's still at the beginning of the round, so it'll carry over striking against you. We'll do that with the water things that he has. So now you are going to need to resist a severity 6 critical strike.
Okay.
As 3/3 becomes 3/6 6 deadliness here.
So my check, unfortunately, it's not gone so well. I got a lot of successes with Strife, but because I am compromised, I don't get to take them, regardless of what stance I'm in.
That is true. While you get to ignore strife results because you're in void, the step just before resolving symbols is kept dice, and so you keep before you resolve. So even though you would normally ignore them because of void stance, you can't keep them because you're compromised.
Exactly. So I thankfully got to reroll thanks to my quick reflexes.
Mm-hmm.
That gave me 1 success and 2 opportunity.
Got it. So that reduces. It just reduces it to 5. So it's still a debilitating gash. So the character suffers a severely wounded condition for void, and you yourself are now bleeding.
Okay.
Yeah. We're both not looking so hot. Like my roll clean, so I didn't take any additional damage. But it's a real dicey. So I mean, I guess on one side, you don't have to worry about what do you call it? Keeping dice that have strife on them for bleeding because you can't keep dice with strife on them.
Well, that's gonna change, but because when you take something like this, you tend to outburst a little bit.
Yeah, I think so. So, what outburst do you think you might take at this point?
Oh,
There's a couple that come to mind. Yeah.
At this point, this was supposed to be a pretty straightforward, duel. But this is quickly turned against what we were hoping for. So one thing I am just now going to just draw deep upon is just that instinctual rage.
Ooh, okay. You will have to forfeit honor equal to your honor rank and glory equal to their glory rank or. And I think in this case,
in this regard, I believe, like, for me personally, as much as I hate to say it,
mm-hmm.
I think honor is the one that would be more appropriate, because honor is still more of an internal thing, and this is still this is something that Ricci doesn't do.
There you go.
He just kind of has. However, this is going to make for a wonderful story no matter where he goes around here, so the glory will be unaffected.
There you go. Well, not. I like that. So, you must forfeit honor equal to your honor. So earlier I heard it was 70 something. So that's
it was 78.
That's a loss of 7 honor there.
Brings me down to 71.
Oof. That is big oof territory there. All right.
But the Lord Dakota's roar goes from the defiant, like proud roar, and then
Mm-hmm.
a stab right along into like, or or actually, because it's the void ring, wouldn't it be like almost like a headshot?
Yeah, he could have like cut you across the brow, or a deep gash into your head of somewhere. Yeah.
And so that proud roar just shifts into just a primal rage kind of yell.
All right.
So I have no strife anymore.
You have no strife
Uh,
anymore. There you go.
but the other thing I'd like to do, because the interesting fun timing of this,
Mm-hmm.
I would like to use the 2 opportunities on void that I got. I would like to ignore one condition I am suffering from until the end of my next turn. I
Oh,
would
there
like
you
to
go.
ignore bleeding.
You absolutely may. Very good. All
Because
right.
I'm not going to be in void stance anymore. So severely wounded void, we'll get to that later.
Yep. All right. Well then, I'm at I know what strife I am at. You know what strife you're at, 0.
0.
It is Ismail's turn to take an action, as he kind of has to kind of see you you roar like that, and isn't exactly sure what you might do at this point. Um, they they will shift into air stance, and they will take a strike at you. Actually, no, they will shift into air stance and calming breath.
Okay.
They feel they have the upper hand at this point. They just have to wait for you to bleed out. If they take it easy, they can hopefully keep themselves kicking. All right.
So I'll go ahead and shift back on over. Uh, honestly, I shouldn't, but it makes the most amount of narrative sense. If this is rage, we're in fire stance, baby.
All right. There it is.
It is one of my lowest rings, but it is what it is.
It makes the most sense. I like it.
Dump some strife on him, baby.
If anything, that's what I'm going to do. I've got 2 fire and 4 melee as we just go right in at him. So, I did not roll nearly as well as I should have, but I will take the 2 opportunities here and I will just put a lot of strife onto him, as he thinks he can hold back, but he has to be constantly on the defensive as I'm just wailing away.
All right. So you're able to put 2 on them with 1 opportunity. How do you want to spend the other?
The other opportunity, we're going to. Oh, this is now very. This is flashy,
Oh, nice.
and moreover, the point. I want to put this like level of flashy detail onto him, not the rest of the court. The rest of the court doesn't matter right now. It's now me and him, and now he knows that I have a way with a blade.
Got it. So that raises him by 2, and then we will go into round 4, and he can't hold that that demon at bay any longer. He now becomes compromised.
All right, we'll take our finishing blow.
All right, go for it.
Let's see.
You still need to hit a TN of 3, and you have to do it while in fire stance.
Indeed.
All right. So how'd your finishing blow?
I got 2 successes, 2 opportunities, and a strife.
Oof. All right. Well, that is unfortunately a miss there. You're not able to return the terribly agonizing crit back to him.
What I will do then is I'm going to take those 2 opportunities, and if he decides to target me with an attack or scheme action, they will suffer 2 strife to do so.
Sounds good. All right.
Because I figure he's about to outburst as well, which will he'll just reduce the strife. So no point adding it now. We'll add it if he decides to do anything, though. This is a new round, so unfortunately the bleeding now starts kicking in on me. I will take 1 point of fatigue for the strife I took.
there you go. All right. now seeing your blood also fall to the floor, it is and just before Ismail is able to really kind of speak himself, the Sultan just loses it and outbursts, and he comes screaming and flailing between the two of you, yelling for you to stop before you kill him, before you cut Ismail any further. Let me look at that. And he starts calling for his physicians and his alchemists to come and staunch the bleeding, and and is ready to call for guards. And that's when the Emir steps forward and says, "Well, my liege, I just had the alchemist out to see to our guests. They've been they should still be at my estates. They're close by. I can get you the finest alchemist in all of Al-Zawira in just a moment if we just call off this senseless violence any further." Yes, yes, yes. Anything for Ismail. Please, you have to save him, and our guest as well. And he kind of like sneers that back at you, but between like big, heavy sobs and almost his face just running with tears and everything like that. And the court now is just not quite sure what to make of seeing their sultan and their caliph acting in this way, and everyone starts to kind of divert their attention a bit, and different courtiers come over and they start offering cloths to you and towels and whatnot to you and Ismail to help stop the bleeding. And I mean, you are just gushing blood from a head wound. I mean, it is just like flowing down the side of your face. You look like almost like half your face is just painted red with blood, and it is dripping down across your freshly shaved face and onto the front of your new clothing here. And Sueno has got a piece of linen pressed against your forehead here, and Gen comes up to kind of look at you, and she can kind of see the cross-eyed look on your face right now from your severely wounded void.
Can I take an action?
Yeah, you certainly may.
All right. So, Gen turns to look towards the vizier right now, who's been screaming the most reprobations against us. Draws herself up to her full height, and
all as high as she is,
all 4'9" of her or whatever she is, and demands in a imperious kind of way, or at least a charged, somewhat angry, but keeping that icy cool, angry but that icy cool voice, nose in the air kind of voice, tone. Is this how guests are treated, with a knife in from surprise, referring to the original assassination attempt? I'd like to do a fire, and I think it's not very courteous, but it's more courtesy than anything else.
Okay.
Because it's calling her out on the courtesy of the court.
I will require a void point be spent to go against your paragon of courtesy.
Okay. But I'm not a paragon of courtesy.
Oh, you're just sincerity. I forgot. I'm sorry. My bad. Never mind.
I'm sincerity, and when I'm high, I'm courage.
And courage. I'm sorry. I got that confused with. I thought it was sincerity and courtesy. You're right. Sincerity and courage. Forgive my words and salt away.
Hey, this is calling her out on something that her court did. She's got the guy jumping on it. It's like,
no, this is definitely she's supposed to run the court when the Sultan's not here, and the Sultan was doing a piss poor job of running it. Mostly because he kind of wanted to see a guy, whatever reverse guy Jeanne is, get stabbed. But yeah.
All right, so I'm calling her out, and let's see if I can do it. Do I spin the void? Sure. Okay, 4 successes. 1 strife is 5 successes, and one opportunity.
Got it. Okay. Oh, sorry. And you were doing this blind, so gain a void point for that. That will succeed with 1 bonus success.
Okay. So it was a TN4.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So.
Oh, sorry. This was the fire. I'm sorry. This was a fire, wasn't it?
Yes.
Because she is shrewd, right? So that will mean, yeah, fire's at a -2. So sorry, that was a TN2 that you were up against.
Uh-huh.
So with all those successes, you said 5 versus a 2. So that will get you 2 momentum.
2 momentum.
Yes, it's 1 for success, and then for every 2 bonus success.
Okay. All right. I take that momentum. I'm hoping it's nearing enough.
Nearing enough. No, 2 is exactly what you needed. So
All right,
there
there we
you
go.
go. You have made sure that everyone realizes that you are not a threat. In fact, if anyone is a threat here, it is possibly those within the Sultan's own court, and that you can make very powerful allies, as you see uh, in the stock of your warriors, who have they've been able to take a blow that many men would have been begging for mercy after receiving, and was willing to go the extra mile even with it. No, you guys have definitely proven your worth here in this court. So you have completed your social goal, just as you and the Sultan are kind of also calling the court out, and that maybe it's time that this whole thing gets wrapped up.
And I'll use the opportunity to be it more flashy just to make the whole thing.
Just to
draw
make the whole
that,
thing draw attention back to all of you there. Yeah. So Galia is reminded of her duty, and that she should have spoken up, but she maybe was also looking too forward to seeing the foreign guests be dispatched in a way, even on the flimsiest pretext of an insult. And she bows her head, not in the way normally you would find insulting in Rokugan. You can understand from what you've known about those in the Caliphate that is a kind of a showing of remorse, or perhaps even bashfulness at times, but it is a sign of contriteness as well. And says, "You are correct. I should have uh, interceded much sooner. Court will be ended for the day. All petitioners can return within 1 week to seek the guidance of the Caliph or the Sultan. Until that time, might I remind all those to make ready for the annual." She's kind of like stumbling with her words here. Late autumn hunt, the last hunt of the year, where the Sultan will uh, be riding out with us, and will bestow the great favor on those who can bring back the choicest game. Until then, the court is now dismissed. And she kind of starts to shoo people up out of the room, and the other guards and courtiers trying to seek favor kind of do the same, until you are all ushered out, and the Emir is out with you all kind of making for his estates. He says, "I have to make sure that we get the alchemist back over to tend to Ismail. Uh, Cursed may he be. I wish that you might have done that poor fool in. Can't believe he decided to draw steel on guests of the Sultan. I apologize for that. Our courts aren't always like that. In fact, shedding of blood is one of the worst sins one can commit here in the presence of the Caliph. I'm sorry about that."
Well, it is nothing unusual for us, but he moves in a way that I am not used to.
Uh, I will see about getting you treated, but
Yeah,
needs
I'm a
must.
little lightheaded. I will need to take a rest here.
Of course,
Richie-san, lie down.
yeah, and it's
Yeah,
not long
again,
before you
sort
get
of
him.
starts.
Yeah, you get him down to along Amir's estates, and he has to send the alchemist away for now, but promises he'll be back as soon as he's been seen by Ismael. But at the same time, Sueno wastes no time, and she begins to start to clean the wound and look after you, and she will make her own medicine check here.
I don't. You can do that, but I got more medicine than she has. I don't. It's a
Oh, well, then in
skill,
that case,
so-
she will give you trained assistance.
Thank you.
I can give trained assistance as well.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Gain two.
Oh, hold it right there.
Yeah, right.
All right. Just a second.
So-
So I believe bleeding is water medicine.
Earth
Yes.
medicine 2.
Oh.
Bleeding is earth for whatever reason. First aid is water. Why bleeding and first aid are different? They are.
It works for me too. All right. Earth medicine, TN2. Just a second. Let me. I figured at some point you'd need some healing, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Well, you know, I'm getting a lot of successes here, but at some point I can stop because I don't need to take any more strife. Yeah, I got it and got at least two opportunities as well. I stopped at 4 successes, but I can keep going if you like.
No, I think that'll be more than fine. Yeah.
All right. So I will keep the 2 opportunities and the successes. I managed to bind the wound. I will also provide assistance to the next character to attempt to check to accomplish something similar. So at
There
least
you go. So
for the doctor, when the doctor really comes around.
Mm-hmm. You haven't made a mess of everything. The doctor will be able to, will be able to be told what's going on, how bad the cut is. All right, excellent. I'm Robert, or Bayoshi Shinichi, your host and narrator, thanking you once again for listening. Remember to catch new episodes every Monday. If you want to catch them early or are looking for more bonus content, please consider becoming a supporting member of the Patreon at patreon.com/CourtGames.
I am Tyler, and I've been playing Akoto Riichi. You can find me on my personal accounts on Twitter at ChurcherGames or on Twitch, also as ChurcherGames. You can find the show on the web at CourtGamesPod.com, on social media platforms such as Facebook and Instagram under Fortune and Strife, and on Twitter at L5RFNS. If you would like to contact us, you can email the show at fortuneandstrife@gmail.com.
This is Jeanne, aka Kakita Kaori, and also known as, at least today, Doji Gen. You can find me at my blog at the Winter Garden of the Kakita website, along with helpful materials for the RPG, and also on Twitter at White Veils or on Facebook. If you like, I am also found on the Court Games RPG podcast as a writer for Emerald Legacy, or check out The Table Is Yours for fiction readings of the FFG stories.
This has been Fortune and Strife, a Court Games production in association with D20 Radio Network and the Rokugana Historical Society.
Correctly with the correct amount.
D20 Radio, where gamers roll.
www.d20radio.com.